So today we're going to be breaking down a character that I found off of listening to a video on Pink Book Lessons. Um, I'll just, give credit where credit is due. We're going to talk about masculine Maxine. We're going to be breaking down the life of masculine Maxine and the character masculine Maxine. Okay, say that about about 100 times. See if you don't get tongue twisted. But um, we could say Big Shirley. We can talk about you know um Gangsta Boo. It's all kind of different versions of a tough woman. Okay, we can't say that masculine Maxine is not a tough woman. Okay, I'll give her that. Okay, she's very very tough, and I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna go into the psychology of this masculine uh, woman. Okay, this American black woman that is very very masculine. Okay. I would even say I'll give credit where credit is due again, where masculine Maxine is definitely not really she's not an idiot, but she does things to um put her in a situation where she ultimately is an idiot. And I'll explain that if you got the wisdom of a house mouse, you probably already understand that something going on here. If you learn as a kid, okay, this is how something is, and then this is something that's irregular. At least when I was a kid, I understood irregularities. A lot of times kids don't have the filters to just kind of push things aside and say something positive or say nothing at all. Have to learn that. I mean, a lot of times, as a kid, you have to learn how to even talk to other kids because kids don't have filters with other kids. So the thing is that you learn those irregularities. You say, okay, why does that woman look different than this woman? You just, I mean, a lot of times you have to remember at one time you were a child. You know what children do. People are definitely intrigued by, the just how children are very simple as far as their mindset, uh, looking at things how they are. They wonder, okay, this woman, this man is different than this other man and this other woman. And it's like, they don't really understand why. And they might ask their mom, why does this why does this woman got a scar off the side of her face and she looks mean and she looks like she's about to football tackle somebody. And the mom will say, shut up, you know, shut up, little Susie, or um, little, you know, uh, Vicky, or whatever. Because the person is probably right across from them, and definitely the mother doesn't want any trouble with masculine Maxine at all, at all. And the kid just he just she or her or he, Larry or Bobby, they don't understand. Okay, why is this person look the way they do? And um, this is something that is definitely becoming more normalized. It's becoming more common, in my opinion. Masculine Maxine is a byproduct of society. Okay, again, I wear many hats. I went to school a long time. Okay. Y'all really don't talk about it, but I'm gonna be I'm gonna keep it all the way. I'm gonna keep it all the way with you. I went to college so long, mainly because I'll just say that I was more democratic than I like grant money. That was one of the reasons I went to. That was one of the reasons of many reasons why I went to college a long time. Um, I liked the grant money. It was a way for me to kind of, even if I wasn't going to, if I wasn't working, or I wasn't really kind of doing too well, I can just kind of go to college. I was still young. I could pull it off. Even if I wasn't young, I just basically could just do it. And if it was a common thing that, it wasn't just me doing that, but, the grant money was there, and I like going to school, and I like to learn new things as well. And definitely the student body, they look good. So yeah, I definitely um, went to a lot of different colleges, a lot of different universities, and one of those universities I went to, Chicago State University. I was really serious about being a social worker. I was inspired by a family member, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Gonna be a social worker. You know, so at the time, Chicago State didn't have any social work, um, actual class concentrations, you could just say, or programs. So if you wanted to go the social worker route, the option was to go into sociology. Okay, a lot of lawyers are degree sociologists. They have a degree in sociology. Uh, Reason being is, I mean, definitely sociology is in the humanities. Uh, Sociology helps you understand basically what ancient societies, if you went to a really good school and they broke that down, you understand history of societies, of ancient, of old. I my school, university, they didn't necessarily go into that. I already was studied on my own through my own research and reading um different ancient societies. My dad is, pretty much, kind of led the way to understandings of, you know, ancient societies as well. My family kind of I grew up with, walking around, wake up, I see the pharaoh head, Tutankhamun. I mean, I was raised to, basically, let's just say African studies, and, stuff like that, African American studies. But I say all of that to say that one of the things that I really, really much concentrated in as far as my education is um, s- study of sociology. You know, breaking down people, societies, why people do the things they do. So you go to concentrate in psychology, philosophy, as well as sociology classes. Uh, it's just one of the things that I was going to do before ultimately I ended in what I really like, which I'm passionate about, which is technology, computer science. Okay, um, was what I ended up at. As far as my actual college education, and led me to ultimately my career as a technologist, uh, computer technologist, IT information technologist. But you got to understand, at the end of the day, I still am passionate about sociology. Okay. So that's why I kind of, come back to different topics and so on and so forth. And yes, masculine Maxine is um, a sociological uh, field of study that I definitely am cognitive of. I've seen women like this my whole life. Obviously, color purple goes into the masculine Maxine in various different forms and facets. The character Harpo. When I was young, my grandmother took me to see Color Purple, which was very very weird. Um, you know, because that was the only movie she took me to go see. So it's like basically me going to go see Color Purple. It was like basically understanding that my grandmother is most likely, I would say, a very huge misandrist. So that explains why she just took me to see Color Purple and not any other movie, because she wanted to, you know, support her probably most likely misandrist agenda. I'm just keeping it honest because I'd rather not lie to you and leave out very important details, um, to provide context to the discussion. Some people are like, "Man, I'm not telling all my business." Or da, 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 some people think that they're more, let's just say, important than what they really think they are. Like a lot of people think that they're important, and I get that. Yeah, everybody thinks that they're the president. It's like they think that they're just important to, they have something to protect. Their family is watching them, or someone is going to, they're gonna blow up one day, and somebody's gonna come back and get their information. And you know, I mean, I don't have those thoughts. I mean, to a certain degree, yeah, I guess to it could happen, or it matters or whatever, but it doesn't to me, because at the end of the day, I am definitely a mastermind. Okay. And a lot of people understand that after the fact. And I can pretty much tell you that other people don't care about you. Yeah, they don't really care about you as much as you think that they care about you. But nevertheless, we're gonna go down the road of how did masculine Maxine basically turn into, masculine Maxine. Okay. How did she get to this point where, she's a child, she's born. Even you can even I'll give you some women are Amazonians. You know, there is a thing called, you know, Amazons. Okay, Amazon is a tall kind of like even she doesn't necessarily have to be heavy set or heavy or fat, let's just say. Uh, she can be just let's just say thick. Usually Amazons are thick, right? And they're tall, usually tall, but they don't necessarily even have to be tall. But yeah, there is a Amazonian element, to women, especially even black women, because there was women that were in Africa that were like Amazonian tribe and stuff like that. I mean, that's the composition of West African women typically are thick, kind of wide hips, round asses, even you could even say big titties, like you know what I'm saying, like that's the composition of an Amazonian woman. I mean, um, you know, it is you can give that, right, like they already are. A lot of times a lot of women are born with certain, like, you could just say even genetics where they're going to be kind of big, they're going to be thick, wide hips, thick hips, long legs, and that's kind of intimidating to some men, that just their actual existence, their actual just genetic makeup is intimidating. But then when you add a rough childhood, when you add um, a rough childhood to the mix, mom is on drugs, dad is on drugs, dad wasn't there, mom pushed dad away because dad was beating on her. Okay, um, that life is at the gate, at the pubescent stages, pre prepubescent stages of life is traumatic, is hard. What she got to go do? She got to go live with grandma. She got to go through all kinds of traumatic situations, from basically an infant to her younger years of her childhood. Before kindergarten, she's already been through trauma, a rough childhood. Okay, a lot of times, unfortunately, even really, to be honest, if you talk about like spoons, right? I did a video about what spoons people are born in, like from plastic spoon to like a platinum spoon. So like, yeah, like a plastic spoon is like your parent, like you were adopted, like you were a ward of the state, meaning the state had your um the state was your mom and daddy, basically. you know um Illinois has the worst, uh basically, management of children in the country. It's called in Illinois DCFS. They if you research DCFS in Illinois, you have enough content, enough research for 100 years. about how they manage children that are wards of the state, um, children that are a lot of times poor children from poor families, um, even just children that are just been abused and you know sexually molested, all kinds of things, right? It's almost like you look at it, if you really look at it, it's like, one of the things that I look at it as, it's just, it's just war. It's like war to me. It's like the way I look at it, from a person, military background, person that understands just kind of just the, I've trained myself to look at things as they are, even if I don't want to admit that, just to look at it for what it is, because if you look at it anything otherwise, in my opinion, it is not realistic. Because if you don't look at it as such, because if they allow, basically top officials allow this to go on, that means that they're controlling it. And you got to understand, this country, again, it's been a long time since I've said this. This country is ruled, and most countries are ruled like that, with oligarchs and plutocrats. Oligarchs and plutocrats meaning the government of the wealthy and the rich. So a lot of people that are in politics are rich. The senators, congressmen, politicians of all sorts are extremely wealthy. Some even go into politics to get wealthy. That's a route to wealth that a lot of people, even including myself, do not even talk about. Politics, you know, some people call it politricks or whatever. That's a path to wealth, and a lot of things you do have to stomach in that, and to a certain extent, you can't control who has children. I'll be realistic. I'll be realistic. You can't control who has children. You can't control people in a sense where, if you're neglectful as far as a woman, it's, at least as far as I know in Illinois, you they're not gonna necessarily lock you up. Oh, a lot of the times they will only lock you up if the child has died, because now they're under social pressure because it's a death. And nobody wants their children to die. Nobody, death is like, that's why people look at death as, really kind of look at things severely, even though, other than if it was a black dude that's probably most likely in a gang, street gang, they don't really care. They just look at it like a casualty of war, and it's just another dead nigga. That's how they look at it. And the thing is that they don't even really try to investigate too hard. Nobody really, probably even talks, unless it's like a high profile person. Like for example, one of the rappers died a few years ago, FBG Duck. He was a rapper. If he probably wasn't even a rapper, um, they probably wouldn't even try to solve the case. It would be probably just another dude that's dead. Like, if you look up Chicago's murder clearance rate, meaning amount of unsolved murders in Chicago, it's like below 50% as far as the murders that's solved. Now, yeah, you can go into the code of silence in the streets and all of that. Yeah, that does play a role. Um, you know, gang violence, stuff like that plays a role in that. But I'm just painting a picture to you of what goes on in the ills of society in Black America. I just primarily have a insight, a very very high level insight of the Chicago primarily. Okay, Illinois. Other places I'm not gonna really speak of because I'm not on the ground there. I never really lived there, so all I know to go by is from the news and stuff like that. I know about Chicago because that's where I primarily grew up around. Now again, you could even say there's a level of benign and neglect. Okay, if the police is not policing properly or policing well, that's benign and neglect. If the children are not being taken care of, there's uh, a office, the DCFS, uh, Illinois government, taking care of management of children that are, basically in distress and in need, foster care. That's benign and neglect. If basically anything that government has the power to be more efficient and they don't do it, and then you look at other areas, or you even look at other people that they do things relatively better, or if certain areas are better, you got to look at an area of um, politics and government, and it's called benign and neglect. And it's a very, very powerful, uh, basically, it's powerful tool. Okay, you could just look at it as a tool, and when you focus in on that, you realize about what goes on. Okay, what actually you're dealing with, and then you really kind of when I focus on it, I get really understanding to where I'm gonna be honest with you, I get gangster when I understand, but not when I really understood and I saw benign and neglect. I really saw it. One of the most the places where I really seen benign and neglect. And then also people, people contribute to it. I'll give you I'll say that. I saw benign and neglect the most severe because I was on 79th Street. That's just where I was at, I started a storefront computer store in the early late 2010s. Okay. That's when I really saw it. Like it like reared its ugly head, and I was like, damn. Okay, this is it's like basically this is something here that is very very serious. And then I start to look at things and like start to really see Chicago politics. Start to see how Illinois, the dirty side of Illinois politics, and all of that type of stuff. And I got a really good sense of it. And it's like, okay, you know, this is what this is. This is the dirty part of you know politics. The democratic machine. This is it. It's like a pimp. I'm gonna give you sweet nothings and sweet goodbyes. You know what I'm saying? One of the things about a pimp is being able to talk to a woman to get her to do what you need done. That's what a pimp does. That's literally even why dudes really be trying to listen to pimps and trying to, even study pimps because pimps are very good at, and also reverends and church pastors and stuff. They're very good at talking to people, talking to women, you know, primarily on and basically getting their point across and trying to convey a message to to get something in return, obviously, right? In this case, pimp would be a woman's money, okay, or or getting, pimps use their whores to set dudes up, you know. Um, Call me if you find somebody got some money that look like they got some big money or whatever, or we need more money than just the standard $100. We need about $10,000. So I'm gonna need you to set this dude up, man. We need about $1,000. If we get 10 dudes in a month, we got the $10,000 threshold. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking, just like 'cause I ain't never been no pimp, obviously, but it's some dudes have gotten set up by pimps that basically they use the whore to set the dude up. That's one of the reasons, of many reasons, why I don't suggest, and I myself do not suggest personally, messing with an escort or a whore, because that's one of the worst things that can happen. And I've seen it happen many a times. Um, you mess with some woman trying to, basically pay for play, and she's got some dudes that definitely ain't paying. That's gonna set you up. Pretty much like kind of almost like chess. And that's one of the most um, hardcore things that could happen, and has actually have happened, that I've seen in the news and stuff like that. And also, you can, because prostitution is not legal, of course, right? You can get a case for solicitation of prostitution, and I believe, pretty sure that you will have to register as a sex offender. Yes, you will have to register as a sex offender if you get caught soliciting prostitutes. Yeah. Yep. So it's like, I'm not gonna go into all of that, but a lot of things are the way they are. You just gotta understand kind of why things are the way they are, and then you can move accordingly. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a lot of why that benign and neglect. A lot of politicians are very good at sweet talking and then not delivering. Okay, sweet, sweets, telling you sweet nothings, um, and sweet goodbyes. I don't know where I learned that. I think I heard that from, I don't know I don't know where I heard that, but anyway, um, yeah, society is very, very rough, for most people that come from uh, a poor background, poverty, stricken background, and that comes brings forth a rough childhood, and that's the first level of a woman, being hardcore, you know, being being a masculine Maxine, and it's started right there. If you go and ask a woman, You know, she's not necessarily, going to tell you the truth or whatever. It's not even um, a rough childhood, to be honest. Um, Sometimes it's even just it's bring forth to just uh, how they were dealing with their parents, because a lot of times people have to survive their parents. They have to survive their parents, and part of that surviving their parents is having to go through trauma to a certain extent, you know. So test, 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 test.